Hey everyone, and welcome back to Kare-ing Conversations with your amazing host, Jordan Evans, with the amazing co-host, Rachel Hill from Foresight.
Hello, hello.
And we have an exciting episode today. We're
Sure do.
talking about all things CNAs. And before we do all of that, let's run our intro. I really want to get to look like that. How do I get that?
I mean, you look like a superhero. That is.
I've been going to the gym. I'm trying to I envision that. That is on my vision board.
Real quick,
So,
Jordan. Tell me
yeah.
about this shirt real quick, though. Obviously, I see it's from NAHCA. Tell me about this shirt, though, because it's true. CNAs do matter.
CNAs matter, and the one organization led by the one person who is always talking about how much CNAs matter actually is with us today.
Who do we have?
In person, we have Lori Porter joining us today. Thanks.
Thank
guys. Here we are, right? Here we are ready to roll.
We are.
I shouldn't say this one of my favorite guests, hands down. I love having Lori on. Always a hoot, keeping it real, having honest conversations, and that's exactly what we're here to do. So, thank you, Lori.
Hands down, one of my favorite people. So, Lori, what you're working on over at NAHCA? There's things coming on. You've got programs working, and y'all are busy. So, what's going on?
And well, I can tell you this,
Lori. I want to back us up real quick. Tell us about NAHCA again. It's kind of been a while since you've been on, so I know. I'm sorry. My memory. Bring us back, Lori. Tell us about NAHCA, and then tell us what you have going on.
NAHCA is the National CNA Association, and we have been around in a couple of different growth spurts throughout nearly 3 decades now. Started this when I was 31 or 2 and hit the big 6-0 this last year. So we've been at this a bit, but NAHCA is a kind of a different type professional association. CNAs, they work in nursing homes. They're hourly workers. They're paid hourly wages. And there's not really very many, if any, professional associations for people who work hourly, if you stop and think about it. So when we started this, it was pretty challenging, and it always has been. But ultimately, I came out of operations when Lisa and I co-founded this association, and it was purely driven because of CNAs love the residents very much. And love's not even the best word. We're still yet trying to define it. But CNAs are left hanging in the breeze so often on the front line and feeling unappreciated. I know I always did the 7 years that I was there as a CNA. And then when I became an administrator, just really looking for a way to support CNAs through education, some advocacy. And we really understand that the best way to help residents and patients and clients out there is by helping CNAs to be their very best. So that's what we are. We're an association of just over 40,000 CNAs, I believe was the last count that membership gave me. And so we're pretty excited. Many nursing homes, hospitals, and home health sponsor membership for their CNAs to be members as a means of professional recognition. One of the concerns, nobody cares, nobody recognizes this. We're not. So I always ensure that our members that are supported by their employers always know the value of what that means. It isn't just the $30 check they pay for your membership. It is the fact that they're first and foremost recognizing you as a professional.
I
And
love that.
so I think, so that's really we've had a hard time because of the very, uniqueness, or the niche we're filling was not one that was open to be filled to begin with.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult because a lot of people that are not pro-union fear that we're some national secret attempt to unionize CNAs. So let me just say this. Our members have the right to be a part of whatever they want. We don't tell them whether they can go to a Bible study or a bowling league or a union, right? We don't get caught up in that.
Yeah.
Because we have our CNA members, some are are unionized and some are not. They all have the same concerns. They all have the same challenges, and the money isn't all that much different, nor the benefits, to make life just all this much better for CNAs. So, coming because we do have, my team and I have a very unique background in senior care, especially. And so we have an opportunity to see things that most other association leaders aren't seeing daily, right? Our members touch the patients every day, touch the residents every single day that they work. And so their perception, their perspective on things are so valuable, but no one ever created a vehicle for their voice to be heard. So we're very proud to be that vehicle. And, just chiming on to what Jordan asked about what's new, I was going to say today was a first for me. I can't tell.
I know we're on the edge of our seats.
I can't tell a lot about it right now because it hasn't been announced.
Okay.
But I had to take an oath of office today to be on a governor's nursing home task force. It's actually an appointment. You have to be processed and your paperwork. And I had to go to a notary this morning and have my oath notarized. And so it isn't about me. What really excites me is that CNAs are going to have a seat at that big, big table where they've never been before.
That is huge. That's so exciting.
So yeah, I think probably next week they'll announce it, and so we'll be able to say a little more about it. But it's a big state. It could have a lot of phenomenal consequences and outcomes where, I'm sure both of you have probably heard about the Moving Forward Coalition. I don't know if you've had anybody on from Moving Forward yet, but I'd like to turn you on to Jordan. May know a little bit. Rachel, have you heard of Moving Forward?
No, yeah.
Okay,
please.
So you all know that last year, NASM, the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, came out with a fairly scathing report on the instability and unsustainability of nursing homes in America. And they made seven. Math was not my strong suit.
Take two.
Yeah, they made 7 recommendations in which to mitigate the problems. And so they're set a report, and it was 600 and some odd pages. And we were interviewed. I was interviewed. NAHCA was interviewed a couple of times by, the acronym for the National Academies is NASM. So it's referred to as the NASM report. Well, a coalition has been formed that is funded through the John A. Hartford Foundation. And it is to build this coalition of 7 committees to further, to put the meat on the bone of those recommendations, if you will. And it's a big national. I'd encourage you to Google it because the chair of it is Alice Bonner. Many academics, many finance people, and folks at Workforce is one of the committees. I happen to have been invited to be on the steering committee. So we're there's 5 or 6 of us on the steering committee that monitor the work not monitor, but follow the work and provide any feedback and suggestions. Of course, they're not asking me on the finance, right? I kind of abstain from that committee altogether. I don't know how we pay for it, but we got to do it. That's all I know.
As long as it gets done.
But the other fascinating thing that is new light to our senior care profession anyway is that both CNAs and residents are part of these 7 committees.
Wow.
Never have they been to the table before.
Yeah.
That I'm aware of in such a national model, best practice working sort of way. So I'm certain, there's a number of us that are, pretty, I mean, I don't know, but I you guys know me because you know me, but some of the other folks on there are probably would make great guests as well.
Fantastic.
More to come on the Moving Forward project, definitely.
Yeah, and I believe that it's it's very innovative. It's not about a bunch of people getting together to figure out how to punish nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things where I get, sometimes I'm terribly misunderstood, and I can only imagine that it's because I don't articulate myself very well, because I just kind of say it. I said the other day I was telling somebody something. I said, "Oh yeah, they've been in tall cotton for years," and they're like, "What?" I said, "Oh, that means they're proud of themselves. They're just I don't know, maybe a horrible thing to say, but this remote work is what I'll blame. I'll never be corporate worthy again. I'm going to have to be stuck in this 10 by 10 office for the rest of my life. But anyhow, the work that is happening out there, the nursing homes being punished, there's a fine line between when to punish and when to help, right? And the time to punish is not really when we're 400,000 people short to fill the positions that are open across America, especially in senior care. And, even the best of the best are working 15, 16, 18 CNAs short of having a full roster. And it is debilitating. It is enough to even make the best of care centers out there just burn out, ready to throw in the towel, because there's the National Guard, nobody's coming to rescue these sinking ships. Mm-hmm. And it's tough. And, there's a lot of talk about staffing ratios right now, and it's a hot button subject. So, I respectfully think we all probably should tiptoe around that or leave it be for a bit. But I'll say this, the residents need more staff. Mm-hmm. We don't know if acuity-based staffing really works, in my opinion, but we do know one thing. We know what person-centered care is.
We do know that.
We know what person-centered care is. So let me see so Jordan, here I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you be bald if you didn't shave your head?
More than likely, yes. No, I wouldn't. No, more than likely, no. No, I would not be bald. There's hair on my head now. I haven't changed.
Oh, look, you haven't tended
it does it.
When it gets an inch and a half long at the nursing home, when you're a resident, is that person-centered care if you've worn your hair this way if you preferred your hair this way your entire life?
That's not what I want. So no, that would not be.
And so we really have to first define what it is we're trying to get to, right?
Yeah, because we throw that word around a lot, or that phrase, right? Person-centered care. I love that. Yeah, please continue elaborating. That obviously is such a standout.
And, I was in Florida recently, or no, excuse me, Georgia recently, with some of Jordan's people next to me. And I was hosting an awards banquet and speaking there. And, I went to lunch, was invited to lunch. And one of the gentlemen that was at the table with us was this dapper looking man, in his 70s. Oh, gosh, I hope he isn't watching in the event he's not in his 70s. But I believe he might have been in his early 70s. Let's go there anyway.
He was 45.
Right? So he had the most beautiful silver hair. He had this bow tie and this starched shirt. And something told me that he doesn't just dress that way for work and conferences. It seemed to be a style. And so we got to talking because it was a nursing home conference about person-centered care. And I asked him, I said, well, when you are admitted to a nursing home, will you still want the bow tie? Would you want that bow tie? And he said, well, of course. And I said, then we all need to stop and redefine person-centered care, because in many places, person-centered care is I get to decide what time I get up if I'm a resident. I get to decide what time I go to bed if I'm a resident. And I get to decide what I'm going to eat. So if that's the definition of person-centered, then we don't need as much staff as I believe we would need. But if we're really going to take care of elders in the way they've lived their lives, makeup, if that's what they wore. When I was out getting my oath earlier, I saw a little lady in the grocery store dressed to the nines. And I'm like, why would that change? Why do we make the people, the clients, the patients, the residents change for us? Seems to be the way. But anyway, that I don't think we're really ready unless there's some remedies, right? And there are some solutions to the caregiver, the CNA crisis, and that is the fact that the rules and regulations around becoming a CNA and who can teach the class and how the class is taught and where it's taught varies state by state by state. And very few of them allow for any online learning. So Jordan would have to go find a class in Maryland that's holding a class. Now, if they can get 10 if they get 10 students, they'll have a class. But 2 weeks out and they only have 4 students, Jordan's going to get a call and it'll be saying the class is canceled because they didn't get 10. So if you try to scale 400,000 caregivers, CNAs in that climate, it's impossible. So at this point, there are some days I would favor staffing ratios, but at this point in time, until we build a care force, a nationwide care force that we can scale at the tune of 150,000 a year at minimum, we're not going to get to a place.
I mean, it just seems so counterproductive to have so many barriers to a career path that it needs to be filled. It's a crisis. I mean, and that's an understatement. Obviously, I'm not in the trenches with, these men and women that are caregivers, so I can't speak to that, but it seems like they are drowning out there. And I'm perplexed, Laura, how do we start removing some of these barriers? Is it all politics? I mean, where, not to get too into the weeds, but.
Well, it is, but at some point, like with the TNA, that's a federal, the CMS came out with that approval. And if they're capable of going, hey, here's the TNA program everybody in the nation can do, we need them to do the same thing with it's called the NAHCA program, NATCEP, Nurse Aid Training, a Competency Evaluation Program. That's what all that stands for. But, there needs to be a national recruiting campaign, because I'm telling you, guys. You will not believe this based on everything you've heard in this country, not just about nursing homes, but I'm going to tell you there is no shortage of people who want to become CNAs. Do you know that nothing sells it? They sell a job. Being a CNA is not a job. I don't get what people can't see, but I don't care if I only did it a year. It isn't a job.
But we make it a job, Lori. Like, I mean, once you become a CNA, then it's like, oh, you did all this work, came across all these challenges to get your CNA, because it used to be easier. It's definitely not easy now. And then you get in, you get a CNA, and then there's no levels. You can't become a CNA manager or CNA director.
Well, I love the setup you made there for me to talk about that as well. In 2018, we didn't see the future of a pandemic, but we saw that throughout all of our years and decades, NAHCA is a laboratory, and we learn every day something new, and then we try to patch things together we've known all along, right? I could send you both a paper that was written in 1989. You could read it this evening, and you wouldn't know that it wasn't written day before yesterday in the Gerontological Journal.
Oh, wow.
And it's on the burden of two worlds, the commonalities between CNAs and residents. They both live and work in a place they have no control. It is phenomenal paper and still just as worthy today. And so, but here's the thing. Burnout is the number one cause of turnover. Burnout. And experienced CNAs. If somebody leaves in the first 3 weeks, that's not burnout. They probably got ran over by something, right? Steamrolled over without the right training and support. Because if you're a TNA especially, you've never probably seen an 80-year-old man naked covered in poo.
No, I doubt you have.
I was a TNA, when I first started, there's always been TNA. We've always had 4 months in senior care to get any uncertified persons certified. They can work in the facility as a nursing assistant. You have 4 months, always have had. That's basically the TNA. And what TNA means today is that they never have to get certified, which I'm totally opposed to, because I don't know how you provide skilled care if you've never been, you don't
have any skills.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So anyway, let's say we all know this statistic. CNAs make up the largest group of employees in any skilled nursing center, especially. The largest single group are CNAs. The CNAs are closest to the residents and their families, the customers, the home serves. And they receive the least amount of investment in training, in recognition, in capabilities. So I liken it to this. Rachel, you got any children?
I don't. I have a fur baby.
Okay. Well,
yes.
Let's just say that, I don't know where I was going to go with that.
Paint me a hypothetical.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say, oh, yes, I got a darling little boy. What do you got, Jordan?
Mid-episode survey, just trying to see if Rachel has children.
I don't even know what I was. Oh, so anyway, we all have driven by football fields and high schools in August. And those guys are out there practicing. They got pads on. It's 105 degrees, full suited. They're football and they're just practicing, and they're dehydrated and throwing up on the sideline, and mom's showing up to take them in for an IV. Do you think those boys would do that if they were not going to know the score till the end of the season? Think about it. A CNA never knows the score. Their work is not measured. It's not reported out. There's no scorecard that says we got the falls down. Now, when you don't know CNAs, let's say, Jordan, you go out and you're going to talk to a group of CNAs just for a fun time, and their administrator happens to mention nursing got the falls down. So you're at the in-service and you just happen to say, congratulations, nursing got the falls down. You have every right to assume anyone that works in nursing
got the falls down.
that praise, right? CNAs are sitting over on the side going, bullshit.
Lori, you're going to get kicked off of LinkedIn. They're going to cut the stream on us.
I didn't say it all the way through. We got the falls down. So we created what's called the Enclave model of care, the Enclave principle, and it is a CNA model of care, innovative as can be. And it is creating a distinct CNA department where they have their own leadership. And sometimes they do self-scheduling and it works out phenomenally. We don't have all these call-ins and everything because people just run and put down what they want to work, right? And once you put your name down there, you're less likely to call in, correct? Because you've owned it. But anyway, so the Enclave principle, there's so many things that are impacted negatively at a leadership change as well. Like an administrator or DON, they say the building is set back like 6 months to get used to the new leadership. Well, leadership has no impact on ADLs, and that's what CNAs provide. Activities of daily living, ADLs, they're government required. And so it shouldn't matter who owns the building, who runs the building, how many times it sells, how many different administrators or DONs you have. If you are an ADL specialist, you can be laser focused on your department and ensuring those residents are cared for. And you can run your own show. A CNA becomes a DNA, Director of Nursing Assistants. That runs the department. That person is a department head level. And then we certify a specified amount of CNAs depending on the size of the community to become what we call certified preceptors. And they are the only ones who can train newly hired nursing assistants, TNAs, CNAs, and it is so phenomenally successful in the places. But what we implemented it in 2019, the year before COVID, and then COVID wrecked our services, in the buildings. It was just no consultants can come in anymore. So the other way that makes Enclave sustainable is that we provide the consulting services to the DNA and the preceptors. Again, largest employee group, closest to the residents, only one without a consultant. So Enclave provides the DNA consultation and the preceptors, and then we manage turnover back here at NAHCA through that consulting and a platform of precepting materials, DNA reporting, and things of that nature. So sorry to take up so much time to explain that, but it does. They can look at real time what their score is. Look, we're almost to meet our falls goal. They get to set 3 goals that end up on their scorecard. Huh. It could be, skincare. It could be 100% compliance on our bathing. It also could be something fun. It shouldn't all just be about, but here's the thing. What we know about teams is they win together and they lose together, and regardless, it's a win because they were together, right? And that Absolutely. Is something that most senior communities these days lack is, and if we ever had it, teamwork was the days it snowed and you were down to 4 people running the whole nursing home, cooking and everything because no one else could show up. And we always realized, gosh, we got this done with 4 people. Why do we need 104, right? People try to latch on to that too many cooks in the kitchen spoils the food. But, I'm really passionate. I would like to see a lot more focus today on scaling up this care force because the residents in the bed today do not have enough people.
Absolutely.
Lori's going to the White House. That's the whole thing. That's the secret.
Lori Porter goes to Washington.
So close to April Fool's Day. We're not joking around here.
I know. She liked that one.
I've asked anybody to try to get me an hour with Biden, and we could get this thing fixed up. Or I don't know, Becerra, Secretary Becerra, he may be the one to go to, but I think the Department of Labor, we're sending some stuff up to the DOL. We have an acting secretary right now. Hopefully she will be confirmed. But our hope is we're going to make a presentation anyway to present how we can, here at NAHCA even, we've got a couple of state projects going on where we're not having any challenges recruiting new talent. And then, of course, I don't want to, I can dominate. I do every conversation. I don't know why it surprises me, but I think both of you may be aware, I know Jordan is, that it's not NAHCA's property, but NAHCA was a founding organization to build a new company called the National Institute of CNA Excellence. NICE is its acronym. And it is a full line platform from recruiting, digital recruiting by geo-targeting, to enrolling, certifying, doing the didactic online, and then placing them in skilled nursing facilities where the need is. But we can't, our little team is not strong enough to cross every single state hurdle to try to get them to approve online learning. So we're going to go to CMS, the Department of Labor, and put forth some of these solutions in hopes we can get started sooner rather than later on improving the situation.
Absolutely, Lori. As always, you stole the show. The work you're doing at NAHCA is incredible, so needed. And I want to spend a little bit of time. We have a little bit of time left, but I do want to quickly talk about CNA Fest. As we come up on time here. So tell us a little bit. I know we were talking offline about this, but there, I guess, is an opportunity you can send CNAs and sponsor them and send them to CNA Fest. So let's talk a few minutes about that.
What is CNA Fest?
Well, CNA Fest is our annual national CNA conference, and this, for the third time, we're going back to the Vine Center in Little Rock, Arkansas, and unfortunately, Little Rock had a tornado 2 nights ago, and there was some significant damage, but all is still well. We've checked in, should not present any kind of issues for us, but we're expecting, 500 or so, up to 500-ish CNAs from across the nation to attend CNA Fest. Now, we're working hard to raise money for scholarships because, as you know, CNAs do not have money to pay for a conference and to travel. And we've had our members, you might not believe this, but in 2005, we were in DC at the Omni Hotel for our CNA conference. I had members drive from New Mexico in a car the 3 of us wouldn't have taken on a 60-mile journey. Wow. That's what it means to CNAs to come to CNA Fest when they don't work for someone who will support them. And we haven't had one since 2019 due to the pandemic, but I'll tell you what, for the employers and senior living, assisted, acute, home care, home and community-based, CNAs deserve this opportunity to come and network and celebrate. This is not a boring conference. This is pom-poms in the air and celebrating who we are and what we do. And I'll never forget, Rachel, one year I was at a provider meeting that was full of people who owned and operated nursing homes. And the speaker happened to be the chairman of American Healthcare Association at the time. And he asked, how many of you support NAHCA? Have your CNAs in NAHCA? And he counted and 21 said, that's not enough. We need more employers to do this. He said, I just came from their national conference, guys, where 800 CNAs were in their chair with pom-poms, who we don't pay that much to, with pom-poms celebrating who they are and who they care for. And you own these places and you'll never do that. and we pay them nothing, and they celebrate who they are. I thought that, I hope that wasn't a bad thing to say, because I think it just really puts it in context to what it can mean to give your front line the opportunity to grow, to share, and to meet other people from across this country that do what they do every day and know they're not an island alone.
Throw that picture up there again.
What's that?
Let's throw that picture up there again, just so you can
Yes,
see
and
it
I
again.
want to do this, and I want to give a big shout out to Care, Kare, Care, do you? Because I kind of know they must sponsor this show since Jordan's here, but I have to say, they have been incredible to work with. I believe their CEO, Charles Turner, and I would be dangerous if we spent too much time together, but dangerous in a great way. And so I really do appreciate that premier sponsorship, and we're going to have a great time in Arkansas. I hope as many facilities will reach out to us. Just go to the website. You'll find the registration information right there on the homepage, and we'll have you won't regret it. I promise, the investment you make. And anybody who would just like to donate, we have a donate as well. I'll get that out on our website as well. I'm not certain that button's there, but we want to raise as much money as we can from sponsors so that we can grant plenty of scholarships to those who would otherwise miss out.
I love it. Lori, thank you as always for joining us, for your passion, for everything you do. Jordan, let's wrap this show up. This was a good one.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Lori.
Well, that was great.
Always a roller coaster with Lori. I love it.
I was on the edge of my seat. That was amazing. That was something. So if you want to learn more about NAHCA, please go to NAHCA's website. If you want to learn more about how you can sponsor your CNAs to go to CNA Fest, go to that website. If you want to learn more about the Enclave program, that will be coming up soon on NAHCA's website. So look out for that. And just look out for more of the things on how you can show your CNAs that they matter.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Wednesday. I was going to say, we're here every Wednesday, fumbling around, trying to get it right. We're doing our best. We're not perfect, but we're always excited to be here. We're streaming live on the Foresight LinkedIn page. We have a tremendous back catalog of episodes. Jordan has curated a fantastic guest list. So, and speaking of recognition, real quick, we just had Nate Hum on not too long ago, president of NAHCA, talk about honoring your caregivers. Incredible guest. But yes, Jordan and I, we're streaming live every Wednesday. And guys, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you next time.